Good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my studio. I'll turn this off so I can't hear myself. Hopefully, I'm live on my Facebook page. Does anybody see me? I'm gonna go look. Mad dash to get stuff done today. Okay, people are watching. I see it. That's a good sign. Hi, Judy. Okay, it's a good sign. Can you guys hear me? I should be using my microphone, but I forgot to plug it in. Hi, Sharon. Hi, everybody. Okay, good. It takes me a minute. I just want to gather this. Okay. Good evening, guys. It is good morning, Anne. Hello, Linda. Please, it's Wednesday night. I forgot to get some water or something. Oh well, I'll live. And I have my phone. It's okay. I'm not gonna grab a water. Joey, can you do me a favor? Can you grab the water that's on the mic, please? Please, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Hi, Judy. Do you see that look? Yeah. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I am live in my studio, which is better than not alive. Happy Wednesday. It's 5:30. It's January 29th. Can you believe it? I feel like January's been like I feel like we're on January 45th right now. But it's been a good month. I mean, I'm going to say, obviously, the events from Sunday were very sad state of affairs. And so, anyway, I will say this. Out of that tragedy, I come from myself. My daughter is in the basketball community and the girls' basketball community. It's just a sad situation. So that I won't say any more than that, other than I just understand how the world is sad, and make every moment worth it and tell everybody you love them and you appreciate them, and all of that stuff. I can't say it enough. And I know that's kind of a sad way to start, but it's just reality. Okay. So today I forgot to get it. Hold on. See, I forgot to get my water and this. All right. I have a couple things to say. Mark your calendar for the week of March 23rd. That's all I can say. Anyway, and there is also something going on. Oh, you guys, if you could see what I'm looking at right now. I'm just going to take a picture because it happens to be what we're dealing with right now, but it's the view out my window. And I happen to be lucky that my studio faces, trying to get the best photo. You'll kind of get the gist of it, but the sun is setting, and lately the sunsets have been like just completely picturesque. This is not going to do it justice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, there's no water in. Jan, happy birthday. Okay, so it's amazing. I'm looking at the sunset right now, and I'm just thrilled. I just built what was in there on my desk. All right. Anyway, happy birthday. So if you're new, please don't hesitate to say that you're new and you've never been here or where you're viewing from. You don't have to. You can remain anonymous. So I have been taking notes, and this topic came from somebody here, somebody in my Facebook group or on Facebook, and I'll share the photo when I'm done. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram at TW Studios, I do a lot of stories throughout the day or whenever I'm working. And this morning I was working in here and I kind of shared a morning of. So at TW Studios, if you're on Instagram, I should be better about mentioning stuff. So do you guys have one of these bad boys? You can get them off the internet for free. But today's topic is all about color. Color, color, color. I love, 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 love color. I also like black and white, but you will see that most of my artwork requires sunglasses in order to look at it because it's so bright. So, welcome, Mick Corsini. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Welcome, Buffalo, New York. Okay, so if you're new, please introduce yourselves. Anyway, so if you have one of these, I have studied this thing and I have learned about it, and I'm going to say where my knowledge comes from. So it comes from Mrs. Day in 5th or 6th grade. Hi, Danielle. Mrs. Day was my art teacher. And I really was a very quiet, I think last week you guys saw photos of me in high school. I was very awkward, braces, very thick glasses, very quiet. I probably said 7 words in middle school. And I will tell you, in middle school, I was voted. You know how everybody gets voted, like best eyes, best this. Well, nobody could see my eyes, because I had glasses that were so thick that it just made me look like, those stuffed animals with those really huge eyes. Well, that's probably what I looked like. Or they made them look really small and I didn't even have eyes because my glasses were so thick. But Mrs. Day, I was a smart kid. I was not brilliant, but I was smart. And I was quiet, and I sat in the corner, and I didn't really say anything. And then you had to take art class in middle school, and it was like a whole world was unveiled to me. Going back to my story, I was voted in middle school most likely to fly to the moon in a toothpick spacecraft. You ask why? Because my school project was to put an egg and suspend it, or put it in with toothpicks, glue, and string was all you could use, and then they dropped the egg. Well, my dad was an engineer, so my dad goes, hey, start making all these triangles. This was my dad, start gluing all these triangles together. So I woke up in the morning, after we worked on it until 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was a giant orb. It wasn't like all the other kids' project where you go into school and they had little boxes and they just crammed the egg in there and, they dropped it, the egg broke, we called it a day. No, my dad put it in, suspended it on ropes and string, and then I walked into school. Of course, he had to drive me to school with this giant orb, and it was so embarrassing. I mean, I was like, Dad, I'm not joking you, I'm going to get beat up for this. So they dropped it off the bleachers, the desk, the bleachers. Well, let's take this project outside off the school building, and it never broke. Thank you, Dad. So could have had something else. Nope, I got most likely to fly to the moon in a toothpick spacecraft. So, and today I appreciate that greatly, and I've turned in some amazing projects for my kids. But anyway, I got into art class, and there was Mrs. Day. Mrs. Day was gorgeous. She had a rose tattoo on her foot, and she was an artist and introduced us to all types of art, and everybody in the class hated it. I loved it. I remember out of paper mache and a toilet paste holder. I'm getting thumbs up for this. It's so embarrassing. Please. I made a toilet. I made Kermit the Frog, and it was just like I colored it. It was real. It was so great. And then she started talking about the color wheel, and I had colored pencils, and I was the art teacher in my basement. And so now I was with an art teacher who introduced the color wheel and just unwrapped this whole wide world to me that I had never seen. And if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't want a tattoo rose on my foot. I don't have one. I actually can't stand needles. Nobody explained to me in middle school that it took needles. This is how naive I was to get a tattoo. But I came home that day and told my mom, I'm getting a rose tattoo on my foot. And my mom's like, okay. So anyway, so I'm going to talk about this today because people ask me about it and how do I select colors and do I ever look at, the color wheel? And yeah, I do. But I'll be honest with you. Hi. Okay. See, these are all my friends that I saw at Creativations. How are you? Okay. Anyway. Everybody's saying, I love Kermit the Frog. I know. It was, I think I still have that dang thing somewhere. And anyway, so this was my love of color. I didn't know anything about it. She handed them all out and everybody, of course, threw theirs away, but I still have mine. So I really, really, really loved her. And to this day, I wonder what happened to her. But anyway, so I'm going to just give you the basics. I don't get stuck in this wheel. This is a great wheel and it teaches you about the basis of color. And it teaches you what you should, mix and what you shouldn't mix, but I'm going to go through that and then I'm going to tell you realistically how I feel about color. And obviously from my books, and remind me to tell you about a comment I got on my Facebook page. So obviously from my books, the brighter the color, the closer to God. No, I don't know what that saying is, but do you see, I just love color. And yes, I love black and white, but I just want, I don't know. I want people to look at my pages and go, whoo, need sunglasses. So let's just talk about this. So first off, you guys know your primary colors. It's amazing how many people I ask and they're like, think of a printer. Your printer is going to give you the answer. But your three primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. If you think of a printer, it's magenta, cyan, and yellow. So Hewlett-Packard and all those companies kind of knew what they were doing. If you have the three primary colors, you can mix and get all your colors. And if you mix the three primary colors, you really get like a shade of black. Now, I am lazy. Oh, wait a minute. I am lazy. The great thing about the paint companies is, the higher the hair, the closer to God. I was close. The brighter the color, the closer to God. The paint companies made it easy for you because why, should you buy the three primary colors and put them out of business? But one thing I always say to people is if you have a basic watercolor set, you have everything you need. Just that Prang primary set, I don't know, you can get them at the Dollar Tree or whatever. They make some pretty dang good watercolors. So if you're on a budget, you don't need this. You do not need this. You don't need to buy watercolors and have them in every color. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay. Because then that takes all the mixing out of it and you don't have to spend tons of time. But anyway, so the three primary colors are, sorry, I'm going to line this up. Red, yellow, and blue. Okay? Then you're going to have secondary colors, which are made from those primary colors. Okay? So you're going to have, here's your, I just want to show, I really want to tear this wheel apart because it's always easier for me. So I always put yellow at the top. Okay? And you're going to have red, so across right here, you have the three. This is, I hope you can see this, is yellow, red, and blue. Okay? Then you're going to have your secondary colors, which is mixed by mixing in with those primary colors, and you get green, orange, and blue. Then you're going to have tertiary colors, which make up like blue, green, red, violet. So you're going to have all those colors. I kind of stick to the primary colors and the secondary colors. And one thing, and I pay attention to fashion and advertisements and products. And that's going to be a tip coming down because people ask me about color combinations all the time. So yeah, you need them all. Okay, so I'm holding this wheel with the yellow on top. I should have a giant wheel. I should have printed one up. But to the left, those are what they call your warmer colors, which are your reds, oranges, and yellows, your warmer colors. And then to the right are going to be your cooler colors. And now, colors evoke feeling, okay? When you look at reds and oranges and yellows, you tend to think energy, bright, action. Don't think those advertising companies don't know that when they're making logos. Your blues, your greens, your purples, those are cooler colors. Those are calm, peaceful, and serenity. See? I hope you're learning something from this. This would be Mrs. Day standing in front of me, and this is me going, oh my God, I love green. I love teal. I love, anyway, that was me. And, I'm writing like this. I wrote notes like crazy, and the guy next to me is just like smoking a cigarette going, what the heck are you doing? Anyway, so remember your primary colors. I always think of a printer. Okay? 3 colors. Printer doesn't need 8,000 colors. Okay. Then you're going to have hues, which are pure color, shades of color, which is when you add black. That's how you get varying shades of a color. Tints, you add white, and tones, you're adding gray. Okay? Okay, that's the boring part. And they really outline this on your wheel. Only the problem is I'm so old that this wheel, turn the dial, I can't read the writing. It's so small. So I recommend you get a much bigger, I can't read that small print. Of course, when I was in school, that wasn't an issue because I wore Coke bottle glasses. But anyway, all right, so your complementary colors are going to be across from one another. So if you spin this little wheel, like so, I like to put yellow at the top because I'm that way. You spin the little wheel, yellow and purple or violet go together. Then you have your yellow, green, and your red, violet. So you can kind of swing those across. Now, the great thing is, I know I do need to find Mrs. Day, but how do you find a Mrs. Day? I mean, her name isn't Weinzapfel, but she did open up my world. And Mrs. Golomatis, who opened my world in 3rd grade to reading, because I never had my face out of a book. So across from one another, those are how you figure out what colors go really great together and they pop. Now, one thing about them is when you mix those colors, they don't look so great together. You'll usually make a mud or a gray color. But when you use those colors together, we'll talk about mud too. They look great. So if you're ever wondering and you're sitting there thinking, oh, I wonder what I would mix, maybe this is why I never use brown. I try to avoid brown at all costs. I know that sounds crazy. And then you have triadic colors, which are 3 equally spaced apart. So, and then of course you have squares and boxes. This wheel for like $4 or $5 or free on the internet pretty much tells you everything, but buy it big enough that you can read the writing, okay? So, yes, I do use a color wheel. But for me, after a while, you will start to look at stuff and go, I just like these colors together. There's certain combinations. When I use teal, oh, Linda says I get mud a lot. Okay, I have a section on mud. We're going to talk about mud. Mud is like the #1 thing I get asked about. How do you avoid making mud? And we're going to talk about that. So combinations of colors. I went ahead and actually... did, I did a chart like white. White combines with everything. I think white looks great with everything. I don't know what white doesn't look good with. Beiges combines good with blue and brown, emerald, black, white, red. I actually kind of went down here and made like a whole chart. So if you're really interested, I will send you this list because I actually keep lists of things that I love. Like I love white, black, gray, and red or teal. I mean, there's certain things that you just see pop up and you see what works. You will definitely see what doesn't work. And you will also, if you're not noticing, yeah, I'd love to hear what your favorite color combinations. I'm trying to think. There is one that I use all the time when I'm using acrylic paints. And that is turquoise, magenta, and then believe it or not, turquoise, magenta, those mix really well with white. And then what's that color? I think it's translucent yellow oxide. When you mix that in there, it makes this amazing green. And when the turquoise and the magenta get together, they make a purple. So this is what I'm going to say about colors too. I get people all the time who buy paints. No, I did not buy those paints. I worked for that company. They buy paints and they don't use them, or they don't just dump them up. Now, watercolors, I highly recommend you get your watercolors out. Now, these extra areas in your watercolors, I am always amazed that people have really clean watercolors. Now, I will clean my watercolors. It takes a wipe to it. But I'm always amazed when this is pristine clean, because it means like they're not mixing their colors or trying new things. So I highly recommend you just start mixing colors. I've actually been known to get in bed and just start mixing colors. And if you haven't done, when you get this, and some people are really anal. I have seen people make like these color charts and know exactly all the colors they have. I just don't care what this looks like. And obviously I don't, because I let it go all over the place. And if you are really crazy about your watercolors, just take a baby wipe to these and they wipe really clean. But number one is trying and mixing your colors. Okay, that's number one. The other thing I do, okay, and people ask me all the time, where do you find your inspiration? Okay, paint samples. Go to Home Depot and figure out what color to paint your house. I printed up this today. What was this? I loved this. This was from a marketing company. 33 beautiful color combinations for your next design. And basically it was pulling apart ads, which I loved, and showing what colors they use. Hello, would this not be just two amazing colors to use in an art journal page? So this one, they're pulling apart all the advertisements. Please tell me you could just go up, well, I could go up to here, pick out the four colors, and look at this one, yellow, magenta, cyan, and black. I mean, hello, right out of a printer. That is going to be an excellent mix. Okay, hold on, I'm going more. Tracy is my top inspiration. Yeah. Oh, there's another thing. Go to an artist page that you see and use. This is a pasta. Is this pasta? I love this. I love this thing. Karen, great question, and I will answer that. I love that this tears it apart and says, nearly each print project is based on these four colors. Together they make up any color imaginable. Separately, they create a color scheme that's bright, complementary, and full of life. So these are the colors that are in your printer. The yellow, magenta, and the turquoise, along with the cyan, along with black they mixed in there. So that's going to get you different hues. I mean, different shades. Shades. See? So this one, multicolored combination, lots of versatility in one palette. The most prominent color, yellow, indicates friendliness and accessibility, while the accent colors add a tone of playfulness and maturity. I love that. So obviously, all of these companies, I just printed up a bunch of them. I wanted to give an example that tan, deep turquoise, and brown. So brown and turquoise I do love. I'm just not a big brown person. I should challenge myself to use brown more often. I find that I get brown by accident. I'm like, okay, stuck with it. Raspberry and shades of blue. So something like this, I just searched on the internet. Somebody said hardware paint stores, excellent place for you want to paint a house. Now my thing about painting a house is look for the interior ones, because you're just going to get mundane, boring ones. But I love this. Teal, coral, turquoise, and gray. All I want to do is paint right now. If I'm sitting here, and that's what it makes me want. Fuchsia, sepia, hot pink, and dark violet. Now that one makes me think I want to throw up on myself because it's a lot of purples and pinks. You also will find I don't use a lot of purples and pinks. Greens, turquoises, I love greens. I love greens. That's a really great one. Turquoise and violet, somebody, oh my God. Go. And remember, there's so many shades and hues and all this other stuff that you get just by mixing colors. Here's one I would never use, olive, beige, and tan. I'm kidding. So this is funny. I just joined Stitch Fix, and they sent me my clothes, and I tend to dress like I paint. I mean, you can't tell, but San Diego State's playing basketball. I do like to wear, well, other than black and white, because those are just given, you know. If I'm feeling fat, it's black. I love to wear bright colors, and so I joined Stitch Fix, and this time they sent me olive and like a wine colored, and I put it on, and I went, oh, okay. So I had to literally say to them, I'm an artist. I want to be dressed up bright. All right. So fashion. Oh my God, follow fashion. Kimberly just named my biggest inspiration. It's when the sun rises and the sun sets. If you can go and capture 4 of those colors, it is all around you. It's the most amazing thing in the whole wide world. It excites me. And hello, I post photos of the sunrise and the sunset almost every single day if it's worthwhile. So anyway, if you have some favorite color combinations, please post them. Karen just asked me, is there a reason why you use the paint palette of paints rather than the tubes? The answer is no. Hold on. Let me show you. No. And you can buy empty, no. The answer is, here's my answer. Isn't this, I love Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith, by the way, rocks my little world. Okay, the answer is, I'm on the go a lot. I am go, 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 go. So for me, I like portability. I like to be able to like just grab a little set and be gone. I thought about actually emptying I have a bunch of these little sets, and I was going to empty them into one. You can buy an empty big tin. You can buy a big tin and just put all the colors in there. I decided that probably wouldn't be a good idea for me because it defeats my purpose of portability, if that makes sense. I go from my bedroom to outside to the winery to I'm always on the go. So I have really revamped my studio to be my happy place again. If you notice, I'm spending a ton more time in here, and for a while it wasn't happy for me. It became, I've told you this before, a stomping grounds to leave my crap. And I recently have taken everything out that doesn't spark joy. Hello. And so that's the only reason. I love tube paints. You can put them in the bins. So that for me is just one of the reasons. I also have this weird sense. I don't know how to describe this. I like to finish things. So I feel like a tube lasts me forever, and I get kind of like, oh, I just want to use this. I like to go through my watercolors and feel them used. I like a messy, I don't know. Kimberly just said, I love the pictures that you post. That's to inspire you. Everything that I'm putting on Tracy Weinzapfel Studios is not because I live in La La Land and I live in a bathtub with bubbles every single day of my life. It's to remind you, it's to remind you to do things that spark joy. Art journaling is something that sparks great joy in me, and I'm very passionate about it. I could talk about it for hours and days. Just like every time you guys I have a list of topics through the end of this year, and I am just going to keep sharing. So if you have a question, I don't like to get into the boring minutia of the color wheel. I want to talk about what sparks me. How not to make mud. First things, this water pot, which I am so bad at this, is divided. Hypothetically, one should be dirty, muddy water. The other one should be clean water, and change your water regularly. I leave my water in here until it goes away. And I'm going to tell you one other thing about education and learning how to do something and learning how to do it. And so it's perfect. And you lose the art of practicing or trying, or you're afraid to try for fear of failure. I used to be a photographer. I did it. I had a wedding photography business. I would do family pictures. And then I started taking all of these classes from professionals, and they were amazing, and they told you everything that was wrong with your photo, like aperture and setting, and I know how to operate my camera, and I would post all of my photos to these groups, and they would point out what was wrong. Well, you could have done this better. This could have been your focal point. This could have been this. I could tear my own photos apart in 10 minutes. I could look at something, and I started to look at everything I did with a negative eye, and I promised myself that I don't want to ever take that joy out of what I love doing. And when the fork came in the road for photography or art, I went art. And by the time I left photography, it was because I didn't want to share my photos for fear of how bad they were. And that I stopped telling my story. I got lost in the minutia and the details that I stopped telling my story. So for me, art journaling is my story. It's how I feel. It's how I reflect myself in my art. And I'm going to say that today I got paid a most amazing compliment, and I'm going to screw the name up. And I don't know, we're friends, but do you guys know Dee Grunig? G-R-U. She's very popular. A crafter from the day. I equate her to Carol, what was her name? Bob Ross, Carol, Donna Dewberry, but her husband, of all people, whoops, hold on, come back. Her husband, of all people, I'm going to say the last, okay, Gruenig, D. He said, I like your work. I have seen much great work as I'm married to Dee. All the best with your studio and your influence of others for good. So it has reminded me that all of this study that you can do takes away from just doing it and trying it and going for it. Carol Duvall, thank you. Dee is another amazing one. Carol Duvall, thank you so much. I did not study before we got here. Okay, so how not to make mud. Have your bin divided between clean water and dirty water. That's number one. I'm amazed at the amount of people who, I do it, it's me, who dips my paint into my dirty water and I don't wipe it off or anything, and I never have clean water. The other thing is when you're using watercolors, know when to hold it. Know when to fold it and know when to run, okay? Don't overwork them. Let the colors dry, because if you start mixing and overworking, working, first off, you're going to notice you're going to be pulling the watercolors or even the acrylics. The same goes for acrylics. They're water-based. You overwork them, you'll just start wiping and pulling them back off the page if you're not even taking up the first layer of the paper off. Let the paper do its thing. Let the water do its thing. Let the paper absorb the water. Let it all be patient. Be patient. Use a heat gun if you're impatient like me. The other thing is the 3 color rule. If you're like me, you want the color to bounce with so much color. But pick 3 colors, and then in between those colors, you can use those colors together. But if you find that you're using 10 more colors to go with it, you got mud waiting to happen, which you might want. But I'm saying limit your palette. Okay, don't go crazy. That's another thing I find. And again, don't let things dry. In acrylic painting, it's the same thing. You can layer up. I start light, go darker, because you can't really go dark and go lighter. It's a lot harder to do that. You gotta, and don't be afraid to reference the color wheel. Go back and look at it. Some people also use a gray palette when they're mixing their paints. I don't. I really, really, really mix my stuff right here, because if it starts to go muddy, you're going to see it before you even get to paper. So this is what these are meant for. Okay, remember it. This one has 2 sides to it. And I'm not talking just watercolors. I don't use oils. I don't want anybody in the oil world to get mad at me. My whole purpose is to inspire you, to have you every time you're here, get a few nuggets, a few takeaways. If you want to tell me what you're taking away from each of these, I love to hear it. I love the emails that I get when I'm done. I'm trying to, last week we did creative books that inspire me, or books about creativity, and there was a printable PDF. I am trying to make PDFs of everything, so we always have a resource. I am loading those right now to your Artful, I'm not, Donna is, to your Artful Journey, so that we are building on resources. So know that that is, and if you guys haven't signed up for my 5 keys of art journaling, that is just by going to yourartfuljourney.com. You can click get on waitlist, or I should have it memorized, but I don't. I will try to find the link right now by going to my Facebook page. Here, why don't I go to my Facebook page? But everything I'm sharing is based on what you guys ask. Okay, I'm not, I am making up some topics, because if I don't have a topic, I will make it up. But anyway, I'm trying to find it. Anyway, go to, on the right-hand side of Tracy Weinzapfel Studios Facebook page, it says 5 Keys to Artful Journey. Click there, you'll get it. It comes right to you in the email. Okay, what did we take away? Okay, so this is my call to you to do something. Okay, every week I like to give like homework snippets. Okay, what I would like you to do is pick 3 colors, go to the color wheel, study it, and use those 3, 4, go ahead, and create something just from that. Okay, it could be a background. Start with just a background. But really, really, I just want you to delve into color. And keep in mind, too, when you let things dry, because the other thing I get asked all the time is, how do my colors pop so much? I'm letting the watercolors do its thing. I'm not wiping it away. So this is something that's coming up in the future. I'm working on it, videotaping it right now. I haven't done the detail work, but this is just the coloring of it. So there'll be more details to this. But you see those colors pop just as it is. So I'm working on that right now. I have some exciting news, but I just can't whip it all out right now. Okay, so to summarize this, your 3 primary colors, red, yellow, blue. Then your secondary colors, green, orange, purple. Those are the color of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, yellow. Those are the color of the rainbow. Remember when you were learning these songs and there was a reason? Okay. Then you have your tertiary colors, with the ones that are mixed together. Blue, green, red, violet, all that. Okay? Then you have your warm colors, which are the yellows, and reds. Then you have your cool colors, which are your blues, greens, and purple. Okay, question from Linda, and yes, I'm taking questions. So I hope I try to keep this under 40 minutes, like a half an hour is great, but I can't. I just want to jump through and start painting with you. Do you put water on your paper first? Sometimes, yes. If I'm doing a background and I want those colors to move and flow together. But if I don't, and I want those colors to be in their own positioning, just remember watercolors, acrylics too, if you're using water with them, watercolors are going to go where the water is. It's going to go in the flow of the water. It's going to go where the water is ponding. It's going to go with the water. Water, water, water. So I will, for your Artful Journey members, of course, will show, I'm trying to get to everything. You guys have never heard red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Those are the colors of the rainbow. Okay. So if you spray down your whole, let's say your background, or let's say a flower, and then you put 3 different colors in there, they're going to move together. A lot of times people will ask, how do I not, let's say I have adjoining flowers. Here's an example, like this adjoining flower. First I painted this flower. No, this flower. I painted this flower. I let it dry. Then I painted this flower. If you don't want this color to go into this flower, the joining sections have to be dry. That was where you'll start to get mud. So that's where it's really important. And if you have a heat gun, you can throw a heat gun on anything. Now, when I was doing this flower, I did the whole thing light yellow. See? I did the whole flower in just a light yellow. And then I threw in some orange, and the petals just started to flow. Now, I didn't want it to go all the way to the middle, but that's key. A lot of times you'll notice with watercolors, you have like void space. See right there? The colors might not, the white that's in there. And I add details to this after, so you never know it. But I didn't want those 2 colors to run. Because sometimes I will just, so that's really with watercolors, you just want to remember they go with where the water is. So it is fun. I mean, if you're taking something away from this tonight, go take a piece of watercolor paper or mixed media paper, spray the whole background, use 3 colors and let it and see what it does. And then on the next page, don't spray it down, use those 3 colors and then see what happens. Just use the water that's in your brush. You're going to be amazed. I do it both ways. Okay. You just take one snippet from that. I do it both ways. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I hope you guys got some takeaways. If you need any of the information sent to you, my email address I will write down. I'm going to mention a few things before I go. Here's my email address. I answer every email myself. Okay. Mark your calendar for March 23rd. I can't say why. Keep leap day, not leap year, it is leap year, leap day from 8 to 10 a.m. open, 8 to 10 a.m. my time, Pacific time, open if you can. It's an extra day in the year. Let's pretend it's not leap year and you just take that day for yourself. There will be information coming out, so save that time frame. If Hank is right behind me, I ran late today. He's right behind me. Can you holding up my art journals? He's a bookend now. There we go. Okay. So those are going to be some earmarked days that you're going to want to put on your calendar. If you want more information on your artful journey, yourartfuljourney.com will get you there. As always, I am making it a habit on Tracy Weinzapfel Studios, so if you follow it, I don't know what the difference is between a like and a follow, but if you follow it, like it, maybe follow it's better. I am sharing stuff every single day that is inspiring to me, and I'm hoping you find it inspiring. That includes my own art, making my own art into quotes that I love. I am sharing snippets of my day. I can't even think. Okay, February 5th is our next live. I am going to be highlighting a book. So if you have the opportunity to buy this book or read this on Amazon next week, it's not required. I just love this. I'm now calling the author my best friend. We actually have the same phone case and love the same color. But I read this book, and most of it I read on a bike at the gym. I'm going to talk about topics from this book. You don't have to read it. I'm probably going to do a book report on it and talk about things that boost your joy, spark your joy. It has to do with hobbies, time management. I get asked all the time, how do I have time? And more, all from this book. And I interviewed the author. So I even asked her, time management wise, how she managed it. Because I will tell you, I asked on Facebook, and I'm posting questions on Facebook every Monday. I want to know. I want to know what I can give back to you and what I can talk to you about. Because I'm living this. I've lived it. I've lived the up, the down. I got way more to live. If I get the chance, I'm doing it. Shelley said, if I should have just I really don't want to part with this because nobody wants to read a book that I read. I'm not joking. I highlight it. I flag it. I fold. Even on a Kindle, I'm a nut. Linda said, very informative. One final thing before I leave, and I kept it under 45 minutes. If there is a topic you want me to discuss, especially if something from Facebook, I'm even writing down, I think my question a week ago was, what do you want to know from me? What can I impart about art journaling from me? But I will answer the question. I probably will answer it in 45 minutes. That's how. And every one of these Facebook Lives go right to YouTube when we're done. So if you missed one of them, I started them back in November. They were kind of loose. I've now tightened up the ship. I now have figured out how to keep it under whatever. Put me in the background on the way to work. You don't necessarily have to see me flailing my arms in the air. If there's anything you want to know, all you have to do is email me, send a homing pigeon, or text me. Don't text me. If you have my phone number, I might not want to know how you got it. Okay. San Diego State is going for 22-0, the basketball game. I need to go warm up spaghetti for my little people, and I want you to have the most amazing week. I will have artwork. What is the page right here? Oh, Tracy Weinzapfel Studios on, I think that's what you can look up. It's called Art Journaling with Tracy Weinzapfel. That's where I'm coming to you live, but you might be viewing me somewhere else. Art Journaling with Tracy Weinzapfel. If you look up my name, it's really my page. My personal page, you can friend me, but then you're going to just, I don't know, see what breakfast cereal I'm eating in the morning. Terry just said, thank you for your time. Terry, I have never felt more in my life positive about what I'm putting out and what is coming back. It's so great. And I don't want, I would be live every single day if there was a camera following me. Okay, don't get any ideas, people. Okay, and I have way more. I mean, you asked me what kind of art. I have a new art journal. Oh my God, it was so wonderful to see you guys. I'm here every Wednesday at 5:30 for the most part. If you didn't catch me live, this is going to YouTube, and I'm going to go watch a basketball game. Oh, Nancy, no, that's okay. I'm glad you guys found it. If you, I think hitting the follow button might be more effective, but every single day, I'm back. I'm alive and kicking. And I've never just felt like and especially after talking to that author last week, known that what small thing I can contribute, whatever it is, there's people who know way more than me. There always are going to be people out there that know way more than you. But that doesn't mean you don't have something to share. On that note, I will see you guys next Wednesday at 5:30. Okay? I'm out.